the demand function. The demand function is a price function. The dx equals square root of 174 minus 4x unit is in dollar. And then we're gonna find the x such that the elasticity, the demand is elastic. Okay, the demand is elastic or inelastic. We use the letter E. Okay, and the letter E or the elasticity of the demand is computed by using the formula -1 over x. X is the production level, which the number that we're gonna have to get at the end, multiplied by the demand function divided by the derivative of the demand function, and then to determine whether the demand is elastic or inelastic. Elastic means the E gonna be greater than 1. So that's the control number to find the X value, okay? All right, so from this part, that means since we have the X, we have the dx, we're gonna need to find the d prime. So we're gonna find the d prime or the derivative of the square root of 174 minus 4x. You guys help me find the derivative. What would that be? What the rule that we're going to use? How do you find the derivative? Just go ahead.
Chain rule.
The chain rule. Before we use the chain rule. So what would we do?
Oh, like we put 1 over 2 on the top and.
Okay, we're gonna write it as the power form. So the square root means the power 1/2, and we're gonna use the chain rule or the general power rule, right? We use it all the time. Or the general power rule, which means we have the quantity gx to the power n, and we find the derivative. So going to be n times the quantity gx to the power n minus 1 and multiply by the g prime. Okay, in our case, the gx is 174 minus 4x, and the n is 1/2. So the g prime is the derivative of 174 minus 4x, which is -4. So we get all the prep work and bring it into the derivative form. So the derivative of the d or the d prime is 1/2 times the quantity to the power -1/2 times the derivative, which is -4. Simplify as much as you can before we go further to the next step. 2 and -4 reduced to be -2. And then the power negative means the reciprocal of the power positive. And the numerator -2, write it in the appropriate form. That means our d prime is -2 divided by square root of 174 minus 4x. Okay, we have the d prime. We get all pieces that we need to compute the E. So next step, we are going to compute the elasticity of the demand. So this is the first step. The next step, we're going to compute the E, which is called the elasticity of the demand. Okay, it's from -1 over x times the dx, which is square root of 174 minus 4x, all divided by the quantity of the d prime, which is -2 over square root of 174 minus 4x. You have the complex fraction. Again, use the algebra property to rewrite from the complex fraction into the simple form. You divide means you multiply by the reciprocal. So then the E is -1 over x times square root of 174 minus 4x multiplied by the reciprocal, which is the square root of 174 minus 4x divided by -2. You see how things work out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the negative side and negative side reduce. the square root times square root, they simplify to be no square root, right? Because the power 2 of the square root, that becomes like they cancel each other out. So the numerator is 174 minus 4x divided by 2x because it's from 2 times x. So this is the elasticity expression for the demand. Okay? We are not done yet, but do you have any questions at this point? Everything.
Yeah.
We are not done yet, so we're gonna keep going with the next step. Can I move on to the next one? To the next part of the problem? Okay, so the next step here, since the E is in the form of 174 minus 4x all divided by 2x, and this one can be simplified more before we use the term like the demand is elastic, right? So you see the number. You don't have to simplify if you don't want to do further, but I recommend you to simplify because you see the number 2, the number 4, the number 174, they all like even number. That means they have 2 as a common factor. So you can rewrite this as 2 times, that would be 87 minus 2x divided by 2x. Okay, and the expression for the E is simplified further to be 87 minus 2x divided by x. Are we good at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, and with the expression that the part of the question said, we're gonna find the x. So we're gonna find the x such that the demand is elastic. Elastic means the value E is greater than 1. So we're gonna set up the E greater than 1. And what is the E? E is 87 minus 2x divided by x greater than 1. From this condition, we can solve the inequality for x. Okay, how do we solve for x? X cannot be 0, we know that because we cannot divide anything by 0, and it makes sense because X is the production or the level of production. The quantity has to be the whole number, right? Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. So to solve for X, multiply both sides by X. Gonna have 87 minus 2X greater than 1 times X is X. And then you're gonna collect the terms involving X. Okay, so we're gonna add both sides by 2x to get 87 greater than 3x. And next what we're gonna do, divide both sides by 3. We have the right hand side x less than, what is 87 divided by 3?
29.
29. So that's what we are looking for. So that means that the production level gonna be less than 29 to make the demand elastic.